So we have two people who have done so much to make a difference, and they are the recipients of our convention awards, the Distinguished Service Award and our new Young Leader Award. The Distinguished Service Award is NAMI's highest honor, and it's given in recognition of exceptional efforts to further NAMI's goals of improving the lives of people living with mental illness. This year's award recipient, Dr. Gary Mihelish, former president of NAMI Montana, has been a true pioneer in transforming the landscape for individuals and families affected by mental illness who live in Big Sky country. Gary's combination of likability, charm, assertiveness, and I'd say he gives the best hugs ever, has served him well as an advocate. Working in close partnership with his wife, Sandra, Gary's work has had an impact on all aspects of the mental health system in Montana, ranging from the enactment of insurance parity to funding of mental health services to the implementation of NAMI Family to Family and other signature education programs. A creative and forward-thinking individual, he has been instrumental in helping make NAMI Montana a truly inclusive organization that represents people living with mental illness, their family members, and the many diverse populations. Over 4 decades of advocacy, Gary has touched the lives of tens of thousands of people, and I really do want to add he's also touched my life very deeply, but for tens of thousands of people that live in Montana and nationally. I am very delighted to present this year's Distinguished Service Award to Dr. Gary Mihelish.
I'd like to thank National NAMI for this award because this is a big deal for me. And I'd like to thank my friends back in NAMI Montana. And I would just like to take just a few minutes. I didn't do this by myself. A lot of people made this happen for me. And I need to thank a few of them. The first person I want to thank is Dr. Joyce Burland. She came to Montana in 1996 in a windowless basement room of a motel, taught 18 NAMI family members in Montana, the first family-to-family teacher training. Family-to-family, Sandra, has literally, it saved our marriage. It saved my son's life. It helped everything in Montana grow. Some people on the NAMI national staff I need to thank is Ron Homburg, who's always been there to help me. When I email him, he returns the emails. He's educated me. Andrew Sperling has helped me understand the legislative process when I'm a bull in a china shop. Bob Carolla has always been there with help and advice on media and relationships. And a special person is Darcy Grudetero, who I've asked to do more things than you'll ever imagine. And she's working on something right now that's going to be fantastic, and we're going to publish it in a journal when this is done. And Lynn Saunders, Family to Family, who's been there from the beginning. And the darn person that quit, Angela Kimball, was my lifeline in legislative matters, and I told her yesterday I was mad at her. I'm still mad at her. Warren Carmel, who was our area director in the darkest moments of NAMI Montana, he helped me weather the storm. And then Laura Usher, who's my CIT lifeline to Sam Cochran. And I want to talk about a few people. I think a few people have been inspirational to me. Who can't be inspired by Dr. Fred Fries? The most remarkable human being that I know. Dr. Suzanne Vogel-Shabilia, who is another wonderful person who's accomplished a great deal. Mo Armstrong. I mean, Mo's been to Montana 4 or 5 times. He's done wonderful things. And then I'm not going to forget my good friend, Karis Myrick. What she's accomplished with her life is just simply amazing. I'm going to mention Ellen Sachs. She just amazes me. It's amazing what people who live with mental illness live. Another person is Kevin Hines, who survived a suicide attempt by jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge. His book comes out this month. This is a plug. His book is Cracked but Not Broken. He's a fantastic human being. And my newest acquaintance is Clint Malarchuk. It's almost as bad as Mihelish. Clint is the goalie coach for the National Hockey League Calgary Flames. He was a goalie in the National Hockey League for 11 years. He almost died on the ice in Buffalo when the skating blade slashed his carotid and jugular, carotid artery and jugular vein. He survived that, only to attempt to commit suicide by shooting himself in the head, and the bullet is still lodged in his skull. And he told me just within 2 weeks, Gary, it was obvious that God doesn't want me yet, so there's something I need to do to fight the stigma associated with mental illness. And then 2 people that are very special in our lives. Everybody, I'm sure, knows and appreciates Dr. Ken Duckworth, who is... If I were to tell you everything he did for the Mihelish family, it would be a HIPAA violation. And lastly, one of my favorite mental health professionals in the whole world, Sister Dr. Nancy Keel, who's come into our life and is one of the mental health professionals that cuts through the illness and gets to the individual beneath the illness so fast that it's remarkable. And then I need to thank our son Kurt. Our son Kurt has battled an illness for 28 years. He is the strongest, most gentle, kindest, honest person I've ever met in my life. His courage and dedication and discipline in battling this illness has been remarkable. My son is my hero. And if it were and if it weren't for his example, Sandra and I would not be doing what we do today and would not accomplish what he does. And lastly, Sandra wouldn't come up here on the stage to accept this award with me because we have an agreement. I do whatever she says. But she's my spouse, my wife, my partner, and sometimes my friend. And she deserves this award just as much as I do. So thank you very much.